Regarding your question about installing 3 parallel runs of 36-inch cable tray horizontally stacked with a 12-inch spacing between them on the roof of an industrial plant, and each tray containing 6 500 mcm armored cables with the required space between the cables, the answer is yes. Such an installation is generally permitted, but must adhere to the National Electrical Code requirements. Section 392.9 of the National Electrical Code covers clearances within electrical spaces. For enclosed electrical equipment, a minimum clear working space of 3 feet from the edge of the equipment is required. However, there are exceptions. Where an electrical enclosure fits snugly into a recess or is flush-mounted, the minimum allowable space is 2 feet 6 inches where access is through a door or hinged cover. In front of electrical equipment where access or maintenance requires examination, adjustment, servicing, or maintenance while energized, 3 feet of clear working space is needed from the edge of the equipment to any panel, door, or cover giving access to energized parts. An exception reduces this to 2 feet 6 inches if the equipment is flush-mounted and access is from the rear. The minimum clear working space behind electrical equipment for energized examination, adjustment, servicing or maintenance is 3 feet, reduced to 2 feet 6 inches if the equipment is flush-mounted. Section 392.9b addresses working space about electrical equipment, requiring that electrical equipment, including lighting fixtures on ceilings, be installed so the bottom of the equipment is at least 8 feet above the finished floor or working platform where there are exposed live parts. Section 392.9c focuses on vertical clearance for service and distribution cables, requiring cables installed in racks, trays, or open wiring to have a vertical clearance of at least 9 feet from the floor or platform to the bottom of the cables, with an exception allowing 7 feet where cables are on the back of switchboards or similar equipment and protected from accidental contact. Section 392.9d details spacings for service and distribution cables and expandable cable tray systems. In addition to the clearances in 392.9b and 392.9c, and the spacings from live parts required by 110.26, service and distribution cables must be installed with specific minimum spaces. 1. Between individual insulated conductors of the same circuit, including splices, 1/2 inch is required, with an exception permitting 1/4 inch for parallel conductor smaller than number 4 aux single conductor. 2. Between individual insulated conductors of different circuits, 3/4 inch is required. 3. Between bare conductors of the same circuit, 1/4 inch is required. 4. Between bare conductors of different circuits, 3/4 inch is required. 5. Between insulated conductors and bare conductors, 2 inches is required. 6. Between cable trays, 6 inches is required. Section 392.9e concerns voltage drop. In spaces not ventilated sufficiently to prevent excessive temperature rise, conductors must be installed so the temperature rise for the intended load does not exceed the allowable temperature specified in Table 310.16 for the type of insulation involved. Section 392.9f addresses load capacity, stating that cable trays must have sufficient ampacity to carry the total current of the contained conductors. Your installation is generally permitted based on these National Electrical Code requirements. The 12-inch spacing between the cable trays meets the 6-inch minimum requirement of Section 392.9d6. The 6 500 mcm armored cables in each tray likely meet the 1/2 inch minimum spacing requirement in Section 392.9 done for individual insulated conductors of the same circuit, but this needs to be verified based on the specific cable installation. The bottom of the cable trays is expected to be at least 8 feet above the finished floor, meeting the minimum vertical clearance requirement in Section 392.9b. However, there are additional considerations. 1. Ensure the cable trays are properly supported and secured to prevent sagging or movement. 2. Confirm that the armored cables are properly grounded. 3. Consider using a cable tray with a solid bottom to prevent debris from falling onto the cables below. It is crucial to consult with a qualified electrician or engineer to ensure the installation meets all applicable codes and standards and is safe for your specific application.